Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Why is the middle class shrinking? Why are people facing an affordability crisis while marginalized individuals called informals grow in numbers? Join me as I travel the world, speaking with people living in invisibility, the leaders working to solve it, and uncovering the hard truths shaping our economy and daily reality.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform. It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noam Laden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noam.
On 77 WABC, this is the Top 5 at 5.
America's mayor is on the mend. Neighbors in Belleville in Inwood have lost everything in devastating fires. A threat against a Long Island school has parents on edge. More than 100,000 show up for a celebration last night in the Hudson Valley. Brooklyn college students fight back and win. All right, let's get into it at 5:01. Let's start over up in Inwood, where there was these two devastating fires that we were telling about yesterday morning. We're seeing the aftermath of them. One in Inwood where 3 were killed, 5 critically injured. The other one in Belleville, New Jersey, where an entire block is just gone this morning. So 3 died in the Inwood fire. The FDNY says flames broke out on the first floor of this apartment building on Dykeman Street. And they say this thing would not have spread if people had left the building and closed the door behind them. In other words, this started on the first floor. It went all the way up to the roof. It did not have to. 14 people were hurt, 5 of them in critical condition, including several children. A firefighter was also hurt. More than 100 people displaced this morning, getting help from the Red Cross. Hearing from some of the victims.
As soon as my father opened the door, he immediately shut it because the flames were so strong, and I could hear the flames. So we immediately just headed to the fire escape to head out because we knew we couldn't take the stairs.
Yeah, so the FDNY reminding people of the importance of shutting the door behind you to prevent a major fire, major damage. They say closed doors can help people lessen or even completely prevent the spread of a fire, which is why it's better to sleep with bedroom doors closed. Reminding people of that yesterday as they were investigating the scene in Inwood. It's not clear, by the way, what started this fire. Their firefighters arrived about 3 minutes after the first call to find residents trapped among thick black smoke. It took 200 firefighters nearly 2.5 hours to get that fire under control. So for now, about 100 residents can't go back into the building until Wednesday at the earliest. So they're looking for other places to live.
3 people have passed away due to this tragic fire, and there are 5 people in critical condition. Hopefully that number does not go up. Yeah,
let's hope that's the case. The cause, again, of that fire investigation still underway. And over in Belleville, New Jersey, that state of emergency is gone from the thick, toxic air that was blowing through yesterday. But firefighters still dealing with the impact of this massive warehouse fire that quickly consumed other structures from Sunday afternoon into Sunday night. A number of business owners lost everything. Now, the good news here is nobody was killed, just one minor injury.
Everything was gone. Printer machines, we had all the equipment, my pickup truck, all my tools, hardware, everything is gone.
So strong winds, remember on Sunday how strong they were at points? That's likely what spread this thing to other warehouse buildings, nearby homes. 3 warehouses were destroyed. These were warehouses that housed businesses. This woman, she owned a boxing gym, a female boxing gym that had trained some pretty well-known boxers. It burned to the ground.
Everybody just giving us support, and like I said, it's not about me, it's about what we build, how we support one another.
Yeah, some furniture makers who also owned a shop in one of the warehouses, they say their store completely gone as well.
To see everything gone, all of our work gone, it's depressing, honestly.
It's got to be devastating. And the mayor of Belleville, so he has a theory from firefighters on how this entire thing started. Now, again, like an entire block. I mean, you have to see this thing. It looks like a war zone. Everything is gone.
We believe it was some welding that was being done. Because it was windy, that amber was flying throughout the air and landing on rooftop.
Now, I will say that's not the definitive cause that firefighters have said, but he clearly got that from local Belleville firefighters. He also said it was the perfect storm for that fire. Helium tanks and cardboard company were in those warehouses that helped fuel this thing Sunday into Monday. 5:05, an 8-year-old North Jersey boy recovering after being attacked by a beaver.
Police in Mahwah say the youngster was fishing at Lake Henry in Continental Soldiers Park Sunday evening when the enormous rodent sprang from the water and charged at him. The boy was initially able to run away, but tripped, and the beaver bit him on the thigh. An adult then intervened, kicking and striking the beaver until it finally retreated into the water. It had reportedly attacked other park goers that day. Animal control officers captured the beaver, saying it appeared to be sick. Beavers can carry rabies, which is deadly if left untreated. The child was rushed to Good Samaritan Hospital for treatment. In New Jersey, I'm Liz Warner.
Let's go from New Jersey out to Queens, where police now say they need your help solving a deadly love triangle there.
The attack happened around 2:20 a.m. on April 12th in an apartment on 86th Avenue near 101st Street in Richmond Hill. Maycall Lanuza Morales, identified as the attacker, his ex-girlfriend and mother of their kids, had moved out about 2 weeks before. She says the 40-year-old pushed his way in, slashed her in the arm, then stuck a knife into the chest of Miguel Perez, killing him. The woman told police the 41-year-old victim was her new boyfriend but did not live there. Police have also released photos of Morales. They're asking anyone with information to contact Crime Stoppers. In New York, I'm Andrew Whitman.
5:06, let's go down to Florida, where former Mayor Rudy Giuliani breathing on his own after being taken off a ventilator. His doctor saying that the mayor has 9 lives following a dramatic turnaround from a dire condition over the weekend. His girlfriend, Dr. Maria Ryan, says that Rudy began feeling ill after returning from a trip to Paris, with his breathing deteriorating to the point where he required hospitalization, was placed on that ventilator. She says his condition turned critical, prompting a priest to be called to his bedside to perform last rites over the weekend. But by yesterday, he was apparently talking and joking with people. And a video released by his spokesperson, his longtime spokesperson, Ted Goodman, says that things are looking good for the mayor. Here was Ted from about 5 hours ago.
On September 11th, 2001, as so many of us so vividly remember, Mayor Rudy Giuliani ran toward the towers to help those in need. This led to a diagnosis of a restrictive airway disease. He's now breathing on his own with his family and primary medical care provider at his side. Mayor Giuliani is the ultimate fighter. This is something he's demonstrated time and time again throughout his life. And he's going to win this fight. His family deeply appreciates the outpouring of love and support. The mayor believes in the power of prayer, and we're feeling that. Today. He remains in critical but stable condition. Stay tuned for additional updates as we can provide them, and please keep the mayor in your prayers. They are helping in a big way, and we feel it. God bless America, and God bless America's mayor, Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah, that's Ted Goodman, the mayor's spokesman. Andrew, the mayor's son, sending a statement to John last night saying he's incredibly grateful to share that he's now conscious. The mayor's conscious off the ventilator, cracking jokes. And Mayor Mamdani weighing in yesterday, wishing the mayor well.
I'm wishing strength and recovery to former Mayor Rudy Giuliani and his loved ones during this difficult time. And I hope that his recovery is steady, and I hope that his family finds peace in one another during this time.
Yeah, of course, as more details on the ex-mayor's condition comes into us, we'll pass them on to you. WABC News Time 5:10. Secret Service officers shot a man during an exchange of gunfire yesterday. This is yesterday afternoon near the White House in an incident that wounded a child who happened to be in the area. This is right near the Washington Monument. Comes, and of course, amid increased concerns about political violence. A week after a gunman attempted to breach the security perimeter at the annual White House Correspondents' Dinner in D.C., an alleged effort to assassinate President Trump. So they talked about the shooting after it took place.
Upon making contact, that individual fled briefly on foot, withdrew a firearm, and fired in the direction of our agents and officers. They returned fire and engaged. That individual was hit.
Now, that gunman's condition, they did not release it. It happened near the Washington Monument, about a mile from the White House. A bystander suffered a non-life-threatening gunshot wound in the incident. Reports say President Trump's schedule was uninterrupted. He was speaking at a small business seminar or forum in the East Room, and we'll get to that in just a moment. But there were talking, and he was told about the shooting.
They returned fire and engaged. That individual was hit. He's since been transported to the hospital. At least one, we believe only one bystander was hit by the suspect. That individual is a juvenile, did not sustain any life-threatening injuries, but he's also receiving treatment at the hospital.
Now, we don't know a whole lot more about the gunman. At least police have not released much information. They say a weapon was recovered from the man. They don't know what his intentions were, but Vice President J.D. Vance's motorcade had drove through the area not long before that shooting occurred. And at the White House, as this was going on, President Trump was holding a summit for small businesses there. The president was talking about how small businesses are vital to the U.S., calling it the lifeblood of the American economy. I guess this is Small Business Week, National Small Business Week, so that's why he was doing this. So it wasn't interrupted. They went on as normal.
Our country's made up of a lot of small businesses, and that ends up being a really big business.
Now, the president says provisions from his big, beautiful bill, including no tax on tips and overtime, help small businesses grow.
As small business owners and operators, the people in this room represent the 36 million small businesses who create 40% of all economic activity in the United States. You're the lifeblood of the American economy, and with your help, we're truly making America great again. We're doing record business.
Yeah, they welcomed in about 130 small business owners to celebrate National Small Business Week. And while we're talking about the president, he says the U.S. is escorting commercial ships through the Strait of Hormuz. More on that from correspondent Alice Barr.
The president calling it Project Freedom, and overnight U.S. Central Command said 15,000 American service members will help, using more than 100 land and sea-based aircraft.
Now, the president describes the move as a response to requests from several unnamed countries not directly involved in the fighting to help free ships unable to move through the waterway.
Iranian state media later claimed Iranian forces stopped a U.S. destroyer from entering the strait. The U.S. military denies that and says it now has destroyers operating in the Gulf and helping ships pass, arguing a 1973 law requiring congressional approval to continue military operations after 60 days does not apply because of the ongoing ceasefire, despite American warships still enforcing a blockade on Iranian ports.
Yeah, I think she's talking about the Wars Resolution Act. Meantime, as you heard, U.S. Central Command rejecting an Iranian state media report that we were getting yesterday that 2 missiles had struck a U.S. warship in the Strait of Hormuz after ignored warnings to halt. The U.S. Central Command says that's just not true. And when it comes to peace talks, they say nothing so far. The back and forth between Iran and the U.S. trying to get some sort of deal hammered out. So far, it's not working. 5:14. Meanwhile, gas prices continue to climb. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent out yesterday talking to reporters says the high prices will come down once the war in Iran is over.
I am confident on the other side of this, the world's going to be awash in oil. The UAE has come out of OPEC. They're going to be pumping more. OPEC just announced they're going to be pumping more. And the U.S. has record crude deliveries.
Of course, the question is, when is this thing going to be over? The average cost of a gallon of regular this morning, $4.46, according to the AAA. That's up a penny from just a day ago, up more than 30 cents than it was a week ago. Scott Bessent says he knows Americans are hurting by the impact of the rise in prices.
We are cognizant that this short-term blip up in prices is affecting the American people, but I am also confident on the other side of this, prices are going to come down very quickly.
And he also talked about how the stock market's reacting to all this.
If we look at the stock market, what does the stock market see right now? The stock market is looking through this. Corporate earnings are good, employment is good, and this gasoline, this temporary aberration will be over in a matter of weeks or a month.
But the average American, of course, looking at their gas gas tank, not the stock market. California has the highest average in the nation gas this morning, $6.11. Can you imagine paying that much? In a moment, we'll tell you what they're trying to do to help Spirit Airline passengers who are stuck now because of the airlines going out of business, and maybe more importantly, the workers. There's a lot of them who don't have a job today. We'll get into that in just a moment. But first, 5:16, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk. Good morning, Justin Ella.
Good morning to you, Noam Laden. Start here at the Garden. Jalen Brunson scored 27 of his 35 points in the first half, and the Knicks emphatically added to a historic postseason roll by overwhelming the Philadelphia 76ers 137-98 in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. It became the first team in NBA history to win 3 straight postseason games by at least 25 points, continuing a wave that began midway through the first round against Atlanta. OG Anunoby added 18 points on 7 for 8 shooting, while Towns and Mikal Bridges both had 17, with Towns adding 6 rebounds and 6 assists in just 20 minutes. Game 2 is tomorrow night back at MSG before the series shifts to Philadelphia. Elsewhere last night, your final from San Antonio saw the Timberwolves beat the Spurs 104-102, Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals. So Minnesota jumps out to a 1-0 series lead there. Let's head to the Diamond in the Bronx. A somber day. Yankees wearing JS initials stitched onto the backs of their caps, honoring the late John Sterling with a moment of silence before the game. Michael Kay and Susan Waldman, two of Sterling's broadcast partners over the years, of course, placed bouquets of flowers at home plate in honor of the beloved radio play-by-play broadcaster, who, of course, died yesterday at the age of 87. And then the Yankees went on to honor him with a shellacking of the Orioles once again. Aaron Judge put New York ahead in the first with his 14th home run as part of a 4 RBI night. The Yankees routed the Orioles 12-1 for a 4-game sweep, then their 14th win in 16 games. Judge is tied with Chicago White Sox rookie Munetaka Murakami for most homers in the big leagues. AL Best New York moved to season-high 13 games over 500, outscoring the Orioles 39-10 in the series. Starter Cam Schlittler won his 3rd straight start, allowing 1 run and 7 hits in 5 2/3 innings. Up next for the Yankees, rookie Elmer Rodriguez makes his 2nd big league start tonight against Jacob deGrom, with the Rangers coming to the Bronx for the opener of a 3-game series. First pitch from Yankee Stadium is scheduled for 7:05 p.m. In Colorado, Carson Benji homered leading off the 6th inning for New York, and the Mets beat the skidding Rockies 4-2. And a game moved up 3 hours to avoid potential wet weather. Mark Vientos added a 2-run single for the Mets, who were 3-1 on a 9-game trip after losing 17 of 20 overall. Benji also saved a run with a diving catch in center field. Up next for the Mets, the righty Freddie Peralta will get the start in tonight's middle game of this 3-game series, set for an 8:40 p.m. first pitch from Colorado. That is your sports. Noam, and I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
WABC News Time 5:20. Secretary of State Marco Rubio going to fill in for Caroline Leavitt as press secretary today. Leavitt is out on maternity leave. Rubio will host the press briefing, but it's not clear if he's going to take the role on permanently. It doesn't seem like he would have time to do that, but along with his duties as Secretary of State, Rubio also serves as the acting National Security Advisor since Mike Walls was removed from that position last May. Rubio's first press briefing will be in that usual spot in the James Brady press briefing room a little bit later today. Let's go down to Florida at 5:20. Spirit Airlines says a massive and sustained increase in fuel prices was one of the reasons, maybe the biggest one, that forced the carrier to ground its fleet all of a sudden over the weekend. And we're still hearing from travelers who aren't back home yet, disappointed over the closure of Spirit.
They have had a great reputation for getting you where you need to go, being there on time, no fatalities, no accidents. And why they closed, I think, is ridiculous. I feel like we should have had someone decide to purchase the company to help them out.
Now, one of the big ideas behind Spirit was a low-cost airline for people who normally can't afford to fly. Now the question is, where will those flyers go? According to its filings, they said it became clear last Thursday that sufficient incremental liquidity would not be found and there would no longer be any viable path to restructuring, so they just shut down. flyers left stranded. So are workers, by the way.
It's unfortunate for the people who work there, but the people who ran the airline seem to have run it right into the ground.
Yeah, so JetBlue says it's going to pick up some of where Spirit left off.
JetBlue is expanding its Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport flight schedule following the shutdown of Spirit Airlines. JetBlue's expansion includes nonstop service destinations from Fort Lauderdale, including Baltimore, Charlotte, Columbus, Indianapolis, Nashville, Detroit, Houston, and Chicago. Information on when the flight services begin can be found on JetBlue's official website. I'm Jim Roop.
Now, this is a big deal down in Florida as well. JetBlue, Spirit Airlines is based out of Broward County. And so now you have people, hundreds, maybe more, maybe a couple thousand actually altogether who are out of work. And a lot of them are based out of Florida. So now Broward County is trying to step up to find these people jobs.
Career Source Broward is doing an emergency job fair later on today. Broward County has one set at Port Everglades in the next couple of weeks. And I think you'll see more of these popping up because these employees, all are going to be looking for work, and we want to, help assist where we can on that.
Yeah, so those people were just as surprised as some of the flyers when Spirit went out of business early Saturday morning, about 2 a.m. 5:23. Been hearing the details of this cruise ship infection. 3 dead from a suspected hantavirus infection on a cruise ship in the Atlantic. Stuart Smith reports that health officials say another 3 people now being treated with the hantavirus confirmed in one of those cases.
They have told the estimated 150 passengers still on board to respect social distancing, wear masks and avoid contact with other guests. The ship is currently off the coast of Cape Verde, an island chain off the west coast of Africa, but authorities there are not letting the passengers disembark, according to local media.
Yeah, so Cape Verde said, no, you can't get people off the boat here. We don't want that virus. Hantavirus is spread by contact with rodents or their urine droppings and saliva. Isn't that nice to know that it was on the ship? But not often via person-to-person contact, but it does travel sometimes that way.
The disease is spread by rodents and passes to humans when airborne particles from rat droppings or urine are inhaled, but the disease is rarely contagious between humans. It is, however, highly deadly, and there are no vaccines or antivirals to treat it. Health professionals are still trying to establish whether all the others who fell ill definitely contracted hantavirus, or whether they are suffering from another disease. It's also an open question whether it spread from person to person on board the ship, or whether each person contracted it separately.
Either way, it's really frightening. According to the CDC, hantavirus infections can cause what they call hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, which affects the lungs, kills more than a third of its patients, or at least last year in the United States. 5:24. Let's go over to Texas, where a postpartum care center in Houston being sued now for allegedly helping women from China give birth there as a way for their children to obtain U.S. citizenship.
They were marking themselves to deceive our government and the state of Texas about what they were actually doing.
Attorney General Ken Paxton there called the birthright citizenship a scam that threatens national security. He claims the company was coaching mothers on how to evade immigration laws when seeking visas.
We just kind of stumbled upon it, started doing our research, started checking out the marketing materials. And this may not be the only instance that we have in Texas. It's just the first one that we have found.
Yeah, the Trump administration has been trying to repeal birthright citizenship. While we're in Texas, the Texas prison system tracking a huge spike in the number of cases where drones are flying contraband into the arms of inmates. Now, we've seen that here in New York as well, a number of instances.
In 2023, we had 3 incidents. Last year, we had over 24.
Yeah, it's prison director Bobby Lumpkin telling lawmakers yesterday that modified drones carry a payload of over 200 pounds, and the cartels use them to smuggle in both drugs and cell phones to inmates. The cartel's paying pilots big bucks to smuggle in those drugs and phones.
Can carry a payload of over 200 pounds. Several facilities were testing drone detection systems to identify and track unauthorized aerial activity.
Yeah, but they've been hard to track down, and they've been successful at dropping all kinds of paraphernalia to inmates in those prisons in Texas. 526. Celebrations will be held all over the nation today for Cinco de Mayo.
It was on this date in 1862 when the outnumbered Mexican army defeated the invading French forces of Napoleon III at the Battle of Puebla. The Mexican military victory evolved over the years to become what it is today, a celebration of the rich heritage of music, dance, food, and culture. As the population of Mexican Americans has increased over the years, so has the popularity of Cinco de Mayo, especially for states near the Mexican border. There are an estimated 21 million Americans of Mexican descent living in the U.S. I'm Mark Mayfield.
It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noam Laden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noam
on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Tuesday, May 5th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Clouds this morning. Sunshine this afternoon. The high's going to be 80. Tonight and overnight, a few passing clouds. Low 64, and then Wednesday looks like it's going to be kind of a washout. The high 66. If you're walking out the door with us right now, so happy you are. 51 clear in Bedford up in Westchester, 54 and clear in Ridgewood over in New Jersey, and it's 55 and clear right outside our Midtown studios. WABC News Time 541. Let's head over to Rego Park, Queens, where police are searching for whoever is responsible for a string of anti-Semitic graffiti found through that portion of Queens yesterday morning. Authorities say swastikas were spray painted 5 locations, including a Jewish community center, 2 homes, a vehicle, a synagogue. Rabbi Yosef Mendelson, he's with Congregation Machane Chodesh. He says he wasn't surprised there were 5 locations vandalized, but this time he said it hit too close to home.
The swastika actually lands right over a plaque dedicated to Jews murdered in Germany because they were Jewish, especially because our synagogue was built by refugees from Germany.
Now, there is video of multiple people going up to some residential locations and vandalizing them.
None of my grandparents survived. They were all killed at Auschwitz. So is an aunt, an uncle, many cousins, some with babies in arms. So when I see that, it makes me very angry. Very, very angry.
The mayor taken to social media yesterday saying this is not vandalism. It's a deliberate act of anti-Semitic hatred meant to instill fear.
The people may have intended to make us feel scared and small. They're going to make me feel proud and hopefully more learned.
Yeah, there's a neighbor speaking out yesterday. And that Rabbi Mendelson, he says, if they do find the vandals, and they will because there's videotape of them, he said he would like to educate those responsible.
I'd love to have a cup of coffee with you and sit down and talk about what it is that we stand for.
City Council Speaker Julie Menon says authorities searching for at least 4 people responsible for the incidents. No arrests have been made. Not clear if this will be taken over by the Hate Crimes Task Force. 543 out to Long Island, where parents in Suffolk County say they want to know exactly the details of a threat against W.S. Mount Elementary School in Stony Brook. Police would not provide us any specifics. Apparently, they wouldn't provide those specifics to parents as well, but they said it was safe for kids to go to school yesterday. Now, an alert went out about 10:30 Sunday night that there was a threat against the school, but they learned everything they could about it, and they told parents it's okay to send your kids to class. This was yesterday. Now, some parents were nervous about that, and they kept their kids home yesterday.
We really didn't feel reassured. We had no answers. We were left in the dark. We have no answers, and until we do, we're going to be just banding together as parents and making sure our kids are safe by any means necessary.
Yeah, that parent talking to News 12. Others criticize the amount of information the district has presented. In fact, they really haven't presented a whole lot at all. But they have said, along with Suffolk County Police, that it's okay to send your kids to class.
We just got to trust the system, and if the email or the authorities say that the kids are safe, then we'll take their word for it.
We watched on yesterday. It'll be the same way today as Suffolk County Police beefed up patrols at the school to make everybody feel a little bit better. 544, while we're out on Long Island, Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman, the Republican candidate for governor here in New York, will meet with President Trump at the White House today. Blakeman says he's traveling there in his capacity as a candidate. He says triple will be paid out of his campaign account. The longtime ally was endorsed by President Trump last fall after Congresswoman Elise Stefanik dropped her bid against Governor Kathy Hochul. 545. As many as 100,000 people from around the country descending on the Hasidic community of Kiryas Joel in Orange County last night to celebrate Lag BaOmer, which is a Jewish holiday. The event much bigger than usual. I mean, the police were out in force. You get 100,000 people. That's a lot. Usually they make a pilgrimage to a holy site in Israel to honor a legendary rabbi, but that was shut down because of everything going on in Israel with the attacks coming from Hezbollah still. So thousands of Hasidic Jews packed this area in Kiryas Joel last night to set bonfires, which is part of the holiday, and celebrate Lag BaOmer.
When the rabbi will sing, will light the bonfire, we're going to have the entire sea of people will dance together.
Yeah, it was a wild scene last night. Kiryas Joel said maybe more than 100,000 ended up there. This huge bonfire. They had bleachers set up to accommodate people who came from mostly all across the Northeast.
We are a religious Jew who are sticking to the Torah, and we are not political. Judaism is a peaceful movement pro-Torah.
Yeah, and that'll answer the question for a lot of people who reached out overnight to wonder what all was going on in the Hudson Valley. That's what it was. It was a religious celebration. In a moment, we'll tell you why the mayor is denying that he or the NYPD is in coordination with ICE making arrests. There was that big one over the weekend. We'll get to that story in just a moment. But first, 546, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk. And here's Justin Ella.
Thank you, Noah Maladen. Sports sponsored by Pete Morgan of Peerless Boilers. Go to peerlessboilers.com. Find a deal under you. Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers. Start at the Garden. Jalen Brunson scored 27 of his 35 points in the first half, and the Knicks emphatically added to a historic postseason roll by overwhelming the Philadelphia 76ers 137-98 in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. Knicks became the first team in NBA history to win 3 straight postseason games by at least 25 points, continuing a wave that began midway through the first round against Atlanta. OG Anunoby added 18 points on 7 for 8 shooting, while Towns and Mikal Bridges both had 17, with Towns adding 6 rebounds and 6 assists in just 20 minutes. Game 2 tomorrow night back at MSG before the series shifts to Philadelphia. Elsewhere last night, your final...
How did Embiid look last night? I didn't see any of this game.
Me neither, to be honest with you, but clearly not great if they only poured in 98 points and losing by, what is that, 39? Yeah. 39? Did you watch the game, Louis?
Booed severely.
Yes.
A lot. He got hit in the midsection, I think, by Mikal Bridges. At one point, doubled over.
Yeah, he always does that.
He always does that. And then in 2 minutes, he's fine again.
Yeah, of course.
I think he had an organ removed.
Oh.
That's what, a couple of months
really?
ago.
Oh, yeah. Did he really? Yeah, that was that operation, right?
Yeah, operation.
Right.
Now I forgot what it was. But I think Bridges caught him right in the midsection where it happened.
Right where he had that operation.
He was at midcourt just standing there.
Just keeled over. Yeah. He was doing that, he was doing that their whole first round playoff series that they had, especially in that Game 7 against the Celtics.
Oh, he's limping.
You saw him
get
7. Bodies thrown into him. He starts limping down the court, and then 30 seconds later, you see him just, he's throwing bodies around, getting big rebounds. I mean, come on.
He's a tough dude.
Yeah, well, I guess. I mean, if he's really hurt every single time.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's become the new thing in the NBA, just like soccer players to fake these, injuries.
Yeah, exactly. Try and, right. Get the referees on your side, the zebras.
I mean, Noam, how many organs have you had removed and you keep on working?
Right. Noam's still here. Exactly.
Justin needs me right where it happened.
He's a cyborg.
I still show up for work.
Yeah, he's a cyborg. He's like, half of you is bionic.
That's perfect. Yeah. Cyborg, Noam.
Cyborg laden, exactly. Head to the Bronx here. A sad day yesterday at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees wearing JS initials stitched onto the back of their caps, honoring the late John Sterling with a moment of silence before the game. Michael Kay and Susan Waldman, two of Sterling's broadcast partners over the years, placed bouquets of flowers at home plate in honor of the beloved radio play-by-play broadcaster who did die yesterday, of course, at the age of 87. And then the Yankees honored him with a big shellacking once again of the Orioles, beating them 12-1 for a 4-game sweep. Their 14th win in 16 games. Judge is now tied with Chicago White Sox rookie Munetaka Murakami for most homers in the big leagues after he went deep in the first inning with his 14th jack of the year. Up next for the Yanks, rookie Elmer Rodriguez makes his second big league start tonight against Jacob deGrom with the Texas Rangers coming to the Bronx for the opener of a 3-game series. First pitch from Yankee Stadium is scheduled for 7:05. Then in Colorado, Carson Benji homered leading off the 6th inning for New York, and the Mets beat the skidding Rockies 4-2 in a game moved up 3 hours to avoid potential wet weather. Up next for the Mets, Freddie Peralta will get the start in tonight's middle game of that 3-game set for an 8:40 p.m. first pitch from Colorado. That is your sports. No, man, I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC, sponsored by, don't worry, I got it, Pete Morgan and Peerless Boilers. Go to peerlessboilers.com to find a dealer near you. Peerless Boilers, the world's best built of boilers. Take it away, Nomer.
WABC News Time 5:51. Mayor Mamdani denying that the NYPD coordinated with ICE at a weekend protest outside a Brooklyn hospital. 200 people clashed with ICE agents outside Wyckoff Heights Medical Center in Bushwick Saturday night, demanding the release of a Nigerian citizen accused of overstaying a visa.
NYPD officers were not dispatched to the hospital to participate or facilitate an ICE operation. Rather, they were responding to 911 calls.
The mayor also reiterating his well-known views on ICE raids.
I think that they are cruel. I think that they are inhumane. I think that they do not serve any interest of public safety.
Those words coming during a press conference yesterday about New York City's neighborhood internet program, which is expanding for low-income residents of the city. Mayor Mamdani says high-speed broadband, coming free of charge to over 700,000 households in the South Bronx and Upper Manhattan by this summer.
Every New Yorker should be able to access the tools that they need to participate, whether in the classroom, whether in the workplace, whether just to keep in touch with their loved ones.
Yeah, the idea, of course, is to help low-income New Yorkers connect to the internet. Some of them are not.
In the wealthiest city on earth, there is simply no excuse for accepting the persistence of a digital underclass.
Speaking from the wealthiest to the poorest, to the poorest to the wealthiest, A-listers walking the red carpet at the Met Gala last night here in New York. This year's theme was costume art. Beyonce returned to the event for the first time in a decade. She was joined by her husband Jay-Z and their daughter Blue Ivy. My wife sat down to watch this thing last night and noted that she wished she had had daughters because none of us wanted to watch with her. So I then picked up our female dog and put her next to her. I said, here you go. Here's your daughter. Notable looks from last night included Heidi Klum, who showed up as a living marble statue, and Bad Bunny, who came as an elderly man with a cane.
It's expression, it's fun.
I'm dreaming it and I'm being it tonight.
It's origami, so it's sort of inspired by my grandfather's culture. I'm just focused about finding a way to sit down.
So this was held, of course, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, co-sponsored by Jeff Bezos, Amazon founder. This year's Met Gala raised $42 million for the Costume Institute.
This is one of, if not the biggest night in fashion, and fashion is the cool kid.
This is usually not my kind of night, but it's kind of fun to be here.
So Mayor Mamdani, he skipped the Met Gala, using the moment, he said, to spotlight 6 workers who keep the fashion world running instead of, he said, going to this billionaire event at the Met Gala. 5:54. The show will not go on tonight following a 3-alarm fire at the historic Eugene O'Neill Theater on West 49th Street. It's home of the long-running musical The Book of Mormon. Now, they think this is all just an electrical fire. Broke out about 10 o'clock yesterday morning. Just one injury to a firefighter, and even that, thankfully, was minor.
It was very difficult to get to. There was a lot of catwalks and rigging in the theater.
Assistant Fire Chief David Sims there says it started in an electrical room between the 4th and 5th floors. It did cause substantial damage, the evacuation of a hotel next door. The chief says the building's going to be out of service pending repairs. They didn't mention a time frame.
The building is going to be out of service pending repairs.
I think I just said that. The Book of Mormon, the winner of 9 Tony Awards, has played at the Eugene O'Neill Theater since 2011. So now we know for sure that tonight and tomorrow night show has been canceled. I guess details from the people running show, the producers of the show, in the coming hours to see how much longer those cancellations will go on. And we'll end with Brooklyn College students. Remember the story we told you about? It was maybe just a week and a half ago, maybe a little bit more. Brooklyn College made this dopey idea to, instead of have it let students cross the stage during their graduation, that they would just have them stand up at the Barclays Center, which is where they're holding their graduation on May 28th, and say, you're graduated. And the problem was there's like 4,000 students, and they said it just takes too long to get all these students across the stage. So they said, we're not going to do it anymore. Well, students said, wait a minute, that's the money shot that I've spent 4 years and all kinds of money to get through Brooklyn College. I want that shot of me getting the diploma on stage. So do my parents, family members. So they fought back.
I wasn't surprised because the students definitely put in a lot of work just to get this specific solution.
It's super important. I mean, we've got students who are first generation. We've got students who haven't had a walk since middle school, and we have students who, like myself, have taken time off.
Yeah, so those Brooklyn College students, they reached out to us to tell us their story, and we did, and they fought back with a petition to the school. Other news outlets picked up this story as well. So yesterday, Brooklyn College said, okay, you're right. We'll let people walk across the stage and get that money shot.
People coming from all over the world to come see every single one of us take that step and see the accomplishments that we've put forth for 4 years. 4 hard years.
Us as a class of 2026, we want to make sure that we are making an example and leading the classes after us so that they are able to have the same experience that we are able to have right now.
I don't know what the Brooklyn College is exactly thinking.
Thanks for listening to the News Hour with Noam Laden. You can hear the News Hour with Noam Laden weekday mornings at 5 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Oh, it's out of here. Home run Ferry Hawks. Get ready, Staten Island. It's time to celebrate 5 years of Ferry Hawks baseball. Come out to the ballpark this week as the Ferry Hawks welcome in the Charleston Dirty Birds May 5th through the 10th. Grab the kids and come on out. We kick it off on Tuesday, May 5th with Cinco de Baseball with $5 tickets and $5 food and beverage specials. And we end the week as we celebrate all moms on Mother's Day. Moms get in free. Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats.